All right, so I went into night slate with a different mindset, right? I went in all positive. It's gonna be great. We're done with the bad luck. We're done with it, right? We're gonna finally get some good luck tonight, right? So we're coming in with a different. I'm happy. Let's go, right? Excited. We've got again. We're gonna get good luck finally. I came into the night with a different mindset, right? Because, again, last couple of weeks, just unbelievable, right? Random foul trouble almost every night in NBA preseason. Shouldn't be something you have to deal with. I've dealt with it almost every night. The whole LeBron thing 5 days ago cost me thousands, right? And then the last 2 days, 5 injuries in 2 days, right? No one in the history of gambling has ever had worse luck than that. Right? No. So, 5 injuries in the last 2 days going into tonight. I'm thinking, yeah, we're going in positive. No possible way that I could get any more unlucky and have to deal with more injuries tonight, right? No. Absolutely not. That would be incredible, right? If I got any injuries, it would be out of this world. Okay, so we're going in with it's a different mindset. No more, we're going positive. No tilting, nah. We're going to have a good night, right? No injuries, no random foul, no. Not happening to me. Again, we got all the bad luck out of the way the last couple of days with 5 injuries in 2 nights. Okay? I'm trying to keep the straight face, all right? You're thinking, all right, DK, if you get an injury tonight, you're officially the unluckiest gambler in the world, and it's not even close. And basketball, right? It's not like football. Injuries, they're very, very, very rare, right? Maybe on a slate where you have every team playing, maybe there's one guy that gets injured a night. Maybe, right? Now there's NBA slate. We don't have to worry about injuries, right? No. You're watching on Apple, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, don't worry. It's still going. Staring directly into the camera. Staring directly into the camera as we look at this Washington Wizards update. It has Kristaps Porzingis, left ankle sprain, out for the remainder of the game. That is what I'm currently looking at. So we get another injury. I'm thinking, I just can't, right? Another injury. Another one. I think, wow. Is that ever unlucky? That is the worst variance ever, right? Hold your horses. Hold on. You thought we were done? Strike 1? How about strike 2? Once again, you're listening on Apple Podcast. staring into the camera. I show you an injury update. LaMelo Ball left the game, will not return. For those new, too, it's not like I'm making multiple lineups and we have all these injuries. I play one lineup a night. So 5 injuries the last 2 nights. And now 2, not 1, 2 injuries in the same lineup tonight. 2. Not 1, 2. Thought we were done? You thought that was it? You thought wrong. Unheard of. 3 injuries in one night. Bones, Highland, absolutely smashing. Injured early in the third, out for the game. Is this not evidence enough? I have a lineup of 8 players in NBA preseason. 3 got injured. Just saying, adds to my case, right? Absolutely no one runs worse. But with all that bad luck, right? Again, 8 injuries in the last 3 days. You better believe we still cashed in tournaments. So, going over my lineup. LaMelo Ball, Rozier, Tari Eason, Kane, Porzingis, Bones Highland, MPJ, and DeAndre Ayton. Just unreal that 3 guys get injured. But yeah, we still cashed in tournaments in high stakes with 3 injuries. So, Rozier was a guy, again, the Hornets had been playing their main guys big minutes, so I went to LaMelo and Rozier. Eason, I knew was going to be chalk. He was actually 100% owned in the slate, but he smashed. Kane was a guy that in Miami was relatively shorthanded, but not as shorthanded as they were the previous game. But yeah, it was a little bit, I felt a little bit uneasy with him coming off the bench, but still a productive player. I rolled the dice and ended up working out in a big way. Again, Porzingis only played like a quarter and a half. He missed huge minutes. He was absolutely smashing. He missed huge minutes due to the random injury. Again, Bones was on. Bones about to drop a 50 bomb. Leaves right away in the third quarter, right to the locker room. And then MPJ was a bit disappointing. And then DeAndre Ayton rounded out my lineup. DeAndre Ayton missed both free throws at the end of the third quarter. Would have pushed me up here to third place. Another Patreon member here would have been another $400. But yeah, Ayton decides to go 0 for 2 from the line. But yeah, guys, that is going to wrap it up for the look back. You can't make it up, right? 3 injuries in one night. You can't make it up. You literally cannot make that stuff up. But, all right, before we quickly talk about this 5-game slate, if this is your first time watching, welcome. Promise you, we don't normally tilt for this long at the beginning of the videos, but just the last few days have been unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's like, what's going to happen next, right? What's going to happen to me tomorrow? Someone going to get ejected? Probably. I don't know. You tell me, right? But yeah, guys, if you are looking for more in-depth content, you can check my Patreon link down below. Still had a lot of members. Again, the 3 core plays all injured, and we still cashed. A lot of people still cash in tournaments with 3 injuries. Unreal stuff there, but you can check that out linked down below. And the sponsor is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is a player prop site. I saw they just put up their regular season stuff for next Tuesday, so excited for that. Again, if you're unfamiliar with PrizePicks, it is a player prop site. You pick 2 to 5 player props and can win up to 10 extra money. So if you're a first-time user, use the code DKDFS for a 100% match up to $100. But all right, guys, let's talk about this 5-game slate finally. Again, if you're new, you're probably like, this guy's crazy. This guy's crazy. I promise you, it's not usually like this. But I'm losing my mind over here. It's a new day, right? New day tomorrow. No possible way that I get an injury tomorrow or random foul trouble or any check. No, that's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. Yeah, you know what's going to happen. Right? It's literally a lock to happen again. Right, Memphis and Orlando. So I want to mention Memphis. They brought their starters back in for a bit in the fourth quarter. That was, it's good to see for minutes, obviously, in the preseason. We'll keep an eye on news. It's been a little bit frustrating. Teams have not been giving us news before lock with minutes. It's like, tell us what you're going to do, right? Like, who cares? Like Dwayne Casey, he played their starters the whole game. But like, that's fine. But just let us know you're going to run a dress rehearsal. How hard is that? How hard is it to hey, we're going to run this like a dress rehearsal. We're going to play the starters the whole game. Why is that so hard to let people know before? I don't get that. But yeah, Memphis, again, they did bring their starters back in for a bit in the fourth. The bench did close the game. But yeah, John Morant's at 9.5. So he probably plays mid to high 20s minutes. Again, I'll keep an eye on Twitter, see if we got any sort of confirmation. All those updates, again, everything I see will be posted on patreon.com. If you guys are busy and don't want to have to deal with that, you can check that out, link down below. I literally post every single piece of news that I see possible. But yeah, I do like Ja here at the top. Bane's price went way up. He was very cheap last night. Now he's 7.5. Don't like him as much. A little bit score independent, but still has a ceiling. Pass on Brooks, pass on Tyus Jones. Adams is a fair play, but there's probably better value in the slate. Brandon Clark, a little bit interested in him off the bench. He's been playing around 20 minutes, good point per minute guy. I do think he's viable. Santi Aldama's been starting, but I'll probably pass, let others chase. He's been shooting very, very well. Don't think that's going to continue. Don't really know if there's anyone else I want to mention here off the bench. Also, can DraftKings make their mind up? You had at the beginning of the preseason, the lowest price guys were 4,000, which, again, it's fine. Then last couple slates, lowest price guys changed to 3,000. Now they're back to 4,000. What are we doing? What are we doing here, right? You can't be flopping back and forth. Whatever. All right, Orlando Magic. So the Magic have been playing the starters consistently the first half and then one shift into the third quarter. Franz Wagner missed last game. Again, coach's decision. I think they're just giving him rest because he played a lot in that for Germany. So I assume he'll be back in this game. Jalen Suggs also got injured. He'll be out for this game. So starting at the top, you have Carter Jr. at 8.5. So his ceiling, his floor and ceiling does go up when he plays the 5 instead of the 4. And I would assume he continues to start at the 5. And if that is the case, I think he's a pretty solid play. Mo Bamba was really cheap last slate. I mentioned him on the Showdown video, how I liked him as a contrarian play, and he absolutely smashed in like 17 minutes. But if he's going to come off the bench at 7.4, I can't do it on the main slate. I don't know why Mo Wagner is 6K. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Cole Anthony, I mean, this guy has caused me so much pain in the regular season. Probably caused Torrey even more pain. But he's up and down, no Suggs. He most likely should start at the point guard position. He's a fine tournament play, but does have a low floor. You should see Franz Wagner back in that starting lineup as well. Off the bench, I do think Hampton is in consideration for tournaments. He'll be a high usage player. Again, no Suggs, so should be the second unit to himself with RJ Hampton. And then, where is... Oh, so Paolo Banchero's now down here. I was like, where's Paulo? Like, am I going crazy here? So he goes from like min price the first slate to like over 8K the next slate, back down to 4.5. Huh? Yeah, 4.5K for Paolo Banchero. I think he stands out as a really good value play. Close to min price. He's going to start. He's going to play pretty big minutes. I like him quite a bit. All right, OKC and Detroit. So last game they played against, what was it? It's an Australian team, I believe, and they sat out some of their guys. But they should be back in this game. Now, last time I played Giddey, he was absolutely smashing, and he only plays the first half. Again, let us know beforehand, coaches. I would assume Giddey plays into the second half. If he does, stands out as a pretty good play there at the top. Pokashevsky, 6'2", feels a bit too pricey. You do have Lou Dort coming back as well. He'll get a lot of shots up. He's fine. We'll see what they do with the starting lineup. I don't know what they're going to do with the starting lineup. Baisley, man, viable. Jalen Williams, the guard Jalen Williams, is in play off the bench. JRE, we'll see if he starts at the 5, would be a fair value. So really, again, I don't know what the Thunder are going to do. They've been switching up their starting lineups, but mainly, interest in Giddey and then maybe some value guys depending on what they do with the starters. Now, Detroit, as I mentioned, they played their starters the whole game. Like, the starters closed the game last game. So if that's going to happen again, then these Pistons starters look phenomenal, right? They look like the best plays in the slate. There's no guarantee it happens, and hopefully we get some clarity on it before lock. But if it does, it's hard not to like these guys, right? If you have other starters only playing, 2.5 quarters, and you got the Pistons starters playing, the whole game, you got to like them. Cade Cunningham, 9'2", has kind of struggled last couple of games, but still a guy that has a pretty high ceiling. If he's going to play over 30 minutes, yeah, I like him. Sadiq Bey, not as high of a usage player, but if he, again, is going to play the full game, I think he's in play. You have Bagley and Stewart. I think both are solid values here. Again, they played huge minutes last game. Bagley did foul out. Bogdanovich is fine, but a little bit score independent. Keelan Hayes should play some pretty big minutes off the bench. He's been, kind of leading that second unit. I think he looks pretty good. For some reason, I have no idea why, Jaden Ivey is 4.4K. He played 34 minutes last game. Went for 14, 3, 6, and 1. So, I don't have to tell you that Jaden Ivey is a phenomenal play at the price point. Also, keep an eye on Jalen Duren. He practiced Monday. They're not sure if he's going to play in the game, though. So, if he misses, probably just a little bit more run for guys like Bagley and guys like Isaiah Stewart. Milwaukee, Chicago. So Giannis did not play that last game. Starters for the Bucks have really not been playing a ton. Like, a lot of the vets only have been playing like the first half. So I'm a little bit cautious here with the Bucks. Also, Coach Budenholzer just not giving us any news. No surprise there. Coach Budenholzer, let me tell you, love that guy. Love him. He's the best. But yeah, Giannis, if I knew for sure he was going to play into the third quarter, I would say he's a pretty good spend up. But the way the Bucks have been running it recently, not sure. Say the same thing about Drew and Portis, right? Both guys will be productive, but just unsure of their minutes. Now, if we get news once again that the Bucks are going to be resting a lot of their main starters, then we can start looking to guys like Sandro Mamukelashvili. We can look to a Jordan Nwora, maybe a Beauchamp. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, Chicago. So Chicago, Billy Donovan, been pretty consistent with the starters, right? Outside of that first game where that quote where he said, well, I'm going to check in with the guys at halftime to see if they want to play the second half. Again, pivoted off Vooch there. 50 bomb for Vooch. More evidence, right? Just more evidence. And again, pivoted to Drummond that night. Drummond got ejected. He got ejected in the preseason. So write that down as more evidence. But yeah, the Chicago Bulls, DeRozan, Vooch, Levine, I think all look pretty solid. DeRozan almost went for a triple-double to high ownership. That was pretty tilting. I went for 21, 8, and 8. He's been very consistent so far, as has Vooch, where Levine has really struggled. So Levine, more of the contrarian play. Vooch and DeRozan, I think, are pretty safe spend-ups, assuming similar minutes. Drummond a bit pricey. Also, the Bulls have been kind of messing at times with small balls. So that hurts Drummond's minutes. So I don't know if it's worth a shot in tournaments. If I knew for sure Drummond was just going to get all the backup 5 minutes, they wouldn't go small, then I would have some consideration. But if Drummond gets like less than 10 minutes, it's not going to pay off that salary. Other options, a little bit interesting, these guards off the bench. Caruso, Kobe White. Kobe White played 30 minutes last game off the bench. The Bulls ran a pretty tight rotation. Like, they didn't empty the bench in the fourth quarter. So if we're going to get similar rotation to last game, I think Kobe White actually makes for a pretty solid value play. Also, you got Ayo Dosunmu, who's 4'3", starting point guard. He's also been playing some fourth quarter minutes. I think he looks pretty good. So definitely some mispriced players there for Chicago. Moving on to the Spurs. Popovich just really pisses me off. He just really it's just like, no surprise. He's just running a deep rotation. No one's playing big minutes. It's just frustrating to watch any of these guys in preseason. I played Zach Collins last slate. He got a concussion protocol. Massive foul trouble and injured concussion protocol. So, looks like he will not be available for this game. Looking at price points, for some reason, Isaiah Roby's the most expensive. Now, I know Roby will get the backup 5 run, but I don't agree with him being the most expensive player on this team. Pirtle's 5'3". He'll be productive when he's out there. The only downside is he's probably only going to play like 20 minutes because Popovich. You also have Keldon Johnson coming back. Again, a little bit worried about his minutes, but he'll be a high usage player. That kind of hurts guys like Jones and Vassell, who are still playable. But again, no one's seeing big minutes right now. Also got Gorgie Jang on this team, who'll get some backup 5 run too. Primo looks like he's back. It's just, this team is just, I know the guys are cheap. If you want to target a couple of the starters, you can, but the rotation is just, hate pop. All right, the Utah Jazz. And just weird that like Mike Conley's playing for this team right now and actually playing like a lot of minutes in the preseason too. Did not see that one coming, but Conley 6'5", been playing over 20 minutes back-to-back games. I guess he's okay. I'd rather go to Clarkson, though, if Clarkson starts next to him last game. Markkanen had a really good game 1, came right back down to earth game 2. Kelly Olynyk's only 4'7", so I'll let you know what I'm going to do beforehand, before lock. I played him at low ownership. First game, 0 for 7 shooting, massive bust. Faded the next game, 30 fantasy points at halftime for Kelly Olynyk. So whatever I do here, do the opposite. Again, that's no surprise. That's literally been... That's like a rule in DFS, right? When someone does awful for me, previous slate, lock them in the next slate if I'm not playing. They're going to go off. Yeah, Kelly Olynyk, I think, does make for pretty good value. We'll see what the ownership comes in on him. THT did get some backup run last game, but it was weird rotation. Vanderbilt's 4'8". He should get big minutes, but a low usage guy. Maybe a little bit of interest in a Walker Kessler, but right now he's playing like 15 or so minutes off the bench, so... Yeah, and for some reason, Colin Sexton's not starting. He's been playing like 15 to 17 minutes a game. That's not great. So just kind of a boring team here with this Utah Jazz. Finally, the Blazers. So the Blazers, Chauncey Billups, been pretty consistent. Been playing the starters first half and then one shift in the third quarter. So if we're going to continue to get that, then yeah, the main guys are in play. Lillard, Nurkic, relatively safe place. Those two will run the offense. The other starters are fine in Hart, Simons, and Jeremy Grant, right? Not as high of usage, but should see mid-20s minutes. They're all playable. Last game I will mention, you did see Olivier Sarr get the backup 5 run over Eubanks. Not sure if that happens again, but if it does, you can take a dart in Sarr, who is actually a very good point per minute guy. Didn't have the best game last game, but 4.3K, at least worth a look in large field tournaments. Much else I trust off the bench. Maybe a little bit of interest in Winslow at 4'8", like a little bit, but yeah. Finally, Golden State Warriors. So no Klay Thompson, I believe, is I don't think he'll play in this game. We'll see. And Draymond's obviously going to be out still unless we hear otherwise. He said he's going to be away from the team for a few days. Don't expect to see Iguodala either. So Steph and Poole, they should lead the way offensively. Both had good games. I finally faded Poole after playing him the first couple slates. First 2 slates, awful. Poole couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Again, finally faded. A 50 bomb for Jordan Poole. 50, 5-0 when I fade. Yeah, Steph and Poole, I think, are both pretty good plays here. Again, they're going to lead the offense. They're going to get a lot of shots up, like them both. Wiseman off the bench doesn't play for tournaments. He'll be very productive when he's on the court. Golden State has been, in the preseason at least, they've been like closing games with Wiseman, and they've been bringing back Kuminga as well. So you should get some decent run for him. I don't hate the price point of Wiggins either. I mean, if he's going to play like mid-20s minutes, 5K does feel a little bit too cheap for him. Let's see. What else? DiVincenzo's an okay play off the bench. You got Kuminga's 4-2. He started for Draymond. He played 26 minutes. He played the most of anyone at Golden State. I think he makes her pretty good value. Now, outside of the last game, he's been awful. Last game, he did look a little bit better, though. He did have a better stat line. And then am I going crazy here? Where's Looney? Here's Looney, 4.1. So the 2 bigs for Golden State are too cheap. Looney, Kuminga, I think both look pretty good for value. Don't know if there's anyone else again outside of Wiseman, maybe a little bit interested in DiVincenzo that I'll consider for the Golden State bench. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Appreciate you guys as always. Again, if you enjoyed, just make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Is it possible for me to avoid an injury tomorrow? Probably not. You'll probably see me more tilting in the next video, but let's pray. Let's pray to the DFS gods. Please, please no more injuries. I can't take it. My health, I can't take it anymore. All right, guys, I'll see you all in the next video.